What's up, Starcraft fans? Today we're doing the tier list for Banana Offense on Mal Warfare. Brian, let's hear the mutation.
Mal Warfare is the map where we have to escort Orana's transport as it purifies security terminals from a rogue AI. We win the game if she purifies all 5 terminals, but we lose if the enemies or suppression towers destroy the transport. Enemies blink around when hit, and they use random spells. There is no means to determine the spell until it is used.
So we have Edpahom and Eveling in the call with us today. How are you guys?
Good.
Alright. Eveling, how do we rank commanders this week?
This week is going to be particularly annoying. The 2 mutators being evasive maneuvers makes your enemies more tanky, and with power overwhelming, it's going to make them a lot more deadlier. So you're going to need an army that can sustain and not have any sort of backline, because evasive maneuvers is going to essentially teleport enemies into your backline, and if you have anything that's squishy back there, they'll be very subjected to a lot of nasty stuff. So any commanders that, again, army that can sustain and doesn't rely on the backline will do much better. There's not many compositions that fulfill that. There are some.
Yes. What do you think, Edpahom?
Yeah, I think the big consideration here is it's not just how good are you at like defending a point with these 2 mutators, but it's also how good are you at clearing areas with these 2 mutators active, because you have to push in, clear the area, and then defend against multiple waves and the suppression towers. So if you're good at one, then that's okay, but if you're good or great at both, then you're doing pretty well.
Alright, sounds reasonable. Let's begin. Abathur, where do we have him?
He has really good sustain with his biomass. Very tanky when he has his ultimate evolutions. Can throw toxin nests around. They're not really subjected too much to the power overwhelming, as long as they set up beforehand. I have Abathur for SA.
What do you think, Edpahom?
Yeah, Mend obviously helps a lot for yourself and your ally, because you're going to get a lot of splash damage coming against you. So Mend being able to heal that up for both of you is very helpful. Early biomass farming shouldn't be too heavily affected, but it will be a little bit more of a pain. So I had him in A tier.
A tier. I guess both of you are okay with A. Let's put Abathur in A tier. Prestige-wise, second one? Or no prestige?
Could do either, really.
Second one.
Alright,
Second one.
let's move on. Alarak, where do we have him?
Alarak doesn't really have great sustain, and he typically likes to keep armies at arm's length away from him, which is sort of gotten rid of by evasive maneuvers, and most of his armies don't like having a lot of splash damage against them too much, especially like destroyers. Ascendants, if you can get them beefed up, will be okay, but it's going to be a little bit tough. So I had him in C tier.
C tier. It's pretty low. What do you think, Eveling?
Yeah, I have, for all the same reasons, I have Alarak from C to D. He's not going to be having a lot of fun with power overwhelming, especially when things are just bouncing all over the place. There's a lot of inhumane clips of Alarak getting destroyed, getting his death fleet destroyed by all the spells that come out from power.
Okay.
C to D.
So both of you have him in C. Let's put Alarak in C. Prestige-wise, do you want the
D3?
third one? Because that will... the source tend to clump up even more. But I guess if you just want the mothership, that is a pretty good anchor. So, still third prestige?
Yeah, she's basically your only tanky unit. So
Yes, she
You need
is.
her.
She is very tanky. Let's put Alarak in C. Arcturus, where do we have him?
The thing is, unlike with propagators, even if you get hit by a bunch of spells, your dudes with exploding guns, banings with guns, will still do their damage. So it's going to be pretty inhumane.
This is
But
inhumane.
it's definitely doable as long as you manage your resources appropriately and try not to clump up your banelings with guns so that all of them get taken out by one key spell, kind of spread them around. And if when you get to the point of the fourth control tower,
Fourth set?
you should be able to the fourth set where you can put down onto that middle island. Is that the fourth set or the third set?
That's the fourth set. The first is usually in the base, so
Fourth
it's
set.
uncontested.
Yes.
It's free.
So once you can set up ESOs over there and pound away on things without pretty much all around the map without having to really deal with evasive maneuvers or power overwhelming, as long as you're hitting it with the ESO range. Otherwise, yeah, guys with guns, pretty good. I think he's S2A.
S2A. What do you think, Edpenholm?
Yeah, I had him in A tier. ESOs to pre-clear are nice, and then bunkers and tanks will do pretty well. Depending on who you have as your ally, you can lean more into ESOs or more into frontal defense, depending on what they're able to do well. So you just gotta kind of pay attention to who you get queued with, but just a little mix of both. I think you can even do ESOs in your natural for the first half of the game, and then just salvage and move them after the fourth for the final, setup. And you should be in fairly good shape. But aside from his Royal Guard, you are going to have pretty squishy guys, so it's a little dangerous. So I had him in A tier.
Okay, so both of you are okay with A. Let's put Arcturus in A. Prestige-wise, third one, right? Because you said balance with guns. So third one.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Artanis, where do we have him?
Artanis is decent for sustain for you and your ally with shield overcharge. If you're not going P3, you'll have Guardian Shell, which can also help. And his units aren't ultra squishy. They're not Marines. Dragoons aren't, or Tempests, or anyone really. So he's got a little bit beefier of an army to deal with like storms and the Ascendant Orbs, or Psionic Orb, I think it's called. So he'll do a little bit better than some army-based commanders, but it's still a little tough because there are just a lot of spells coming out. So I had him in B tier.
Okay, B tier. What about Eviling?
I have Artanis from B to C. Yeah, his army can be a little more tanky, especially with shield overcharge. But he's still subject to all the annoying stuff. So it could, depending upon RNG, it can get kind of inhumane for Artanis if things don't go his way with power overwhelming. But yeah, he has good tools to help mitigate with that.
Okay, so both of you have Artanis in B, rather. Let's put Artanis in B. Prestige-wise, you want the third one here? Or do you want Garden Shell?
0 or 3. Yeah, I mean, Guardian Shell is nice for this, and making sure that shield overcharge is global instead of targeted can be nice. But you can go P3 as well. Either way is fine.
Okay, let's put Artanis in B tier. Dehaka, where do we have him?
Dehaka, so his early farming is going to be annoying. Using Dehaka himself can get annoying with all the spells flying around. But thankfully, there's P2 where you have hard-hitting pack leaders that kind of don't care about spells. So it can get through with his pack leaders, and then you can get creeper hosts set up and just start bombarding things, so you don't really have to worry too much about either evasive maneuvers or power overwhelming S2A.
S2A. What do you think, Edpenholm?
Yes, I had Dehaka in S tier. Tyrannosaurs are extremely tanky and have super fast healing, so once you get up to those as well, on top of the pack leaders and Dehaka, they'll wipe out most enemy compositions. If they have an actual air-based comp, you might not want to, just because point defense drone is a thing, and you could just go creeper host at that point. But as long as it's not like a heavy air comp, then Tyrannosaurs are going to do really well. They're good at killing the suppression towers, and then Dehaka and pack leaders can take care of wherever they're not. So I had him in S tier.
Okay. Okay, both of you said S tier. Let's put Dehaka in S tier. Prestige-wise, second one, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Fenix, where do we have him?
Fenix I had in B tier. P2, you're not worried too much about losing the champs because you have cheap shell farm, so the spell spam shouldn't be too dangerous for you. And this is the kind of map where you can just basically have your shell farm sitting right off close to the side out of danger, so you'll get reinforcements pretty quickly. The only slight concern is having to split up, but you should be able to do that once you start getting multiple suppression towers out and things like that. But he'll have fairly good clearing. He's not quite to the level of some of the others, but I had him in B tier.
Okay. What do you think, Eviling?
Yeah, I have Phoenix A to B. His clearing's gonna be a lot slower just due to things ping ponging around. It's gonna be annoying, but as long as you can make sure stuff stays away from your shell farm, I like to keep my shell farm at least like one screen away from where my champions are, and that keeps all the strays from getting to your juicy shells.
Juicy shells. Okay, both of you say B. Let's put Phoenix in B. Prestige, second one, right?
Yeah.
All right. Han and Horner, where do we have them?
Han and Horner, yeah, they're going to be suffering. There's going to be a lot of losses if you're pumping out a lot of Han units. If you're going to be pumping out Horner units, they're going to be subject to a lot of the spells. So either way, it's just going to be a rough job for them. I have Han and Horner from C to D.
C to D. What do you think at home?
Yeah, I had Han and Horner in C. I think it's probably a Horner week. Obviously, get your strike platforms up because they'll be one of your biggest helps for pre-clearing and everything. But one of the problems is they just don't really have a good anchor for defense, no bunkers or anything like that a lot of the other Terran commanders who have squishy armies have to put those squishy units inside of. So missile turrets aren't that helpful. So I had them in C tier.
Yeah, it's pretty feels bad, man, when one of your mag mines hits, and then the rest of them just dodges, or the rest of them just dodge all the mag mines, and you end up wasting most of them. But I guess it's still fine. It's not terrible. Like C is mid, so that's fine. Prestige wise, do you actually want the second one here, so you can have a better anchor of like battle cruisers and stuff?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Karax, where do we have him?
Karax has space lasers, and so they're pretty good. Don't care too much about power overwhelming. I wouldn't say they're as fantastic as they usually are, because once you hit the units once, they're all going to blink in every different direction, so it's very hard to get like orbital strikes to actually get a lot of value. You end up wasting a lot of shots because everyone's in different spots. You have to Solar Lance can do a little bit better, but that's on a longer cooldown. So he's quite good. Clearing can be a little bit of a pain, but once the area is clear, you have cannons, so the defense is very, very good. So I had him in a begrudging A tier.
Begrudging A tier. Interesting. What do you think at Eviling?
I have Karax from A to B. Space lasers are good, but yeah, to aim them with evasive maneuvers is going to be extremely annoying and going to be wasting a lot of shots. Regardless, the good thing about Karax, he does have good anchors with his static defense, and also his units such as Sentinels and Mirages. They can take a hefty amount of punishment and just keep on going out. So you can try these lasers or when you see an opportunity. But yeah, A to B.
Okay, A to B. I guess both of you agree with A. Let's put Karax in A. Third prestige, or actually any prestige will work almost?
I'd be more inclined for the second prestige, since you can kind of push in further and you just have cheaper and just as tank units pushing forward.
You won't have cannons though, so I guess it's a choice. If you don't like cannons, you can go second prestige or third prestige. It is fine.
If you don't like cannons, you can make the ever beloved mass carriers.
I guess that's fine as well. All right, Karax goes A tier regardless. Let's move on. Kerrigan, what do you have him?
Kerrigan does not like power overwhelming, especially when the multiple black holes start coming out. Yeah, it's kind of a crapshoot with Kerrigan because, again, for Kerrigan, her early game is very defined by Kerrigan. So if she gets hit by a lot of spells, then she's just going to become pretty useless at that point. You can throw Omega Worms all over the place, but if Kerrigan gets caught by a certain spell, and Omega Worms don't really trigger spells powered by all the spells. So I have Kerrigan for a CDD.
Okay, Edwin Home. How about you?
I think Kerrigan is the hero unit. Kerrigan herself is actually going to be pretty good against most of power overwhelming. She's quite tanky, quite beefy. A mobilization wave is great for clearing each area. You'll have it off cooldown with plenty of time to spare to clear each area. And I think Torasks will do pretty well. You want to go like Ultralisks, as long as it's a ground comp, you can go Ultralisks, and
Yeah.
they'll
You know what's
be
beefy?
relatively tanky. and
Space
they revive.
cows. That's what's beefy.
Yeah.
Letter?
I'd put her in B tier myself.
B tier. What do you think about B, Eveling?
Yeah. If power overwhelming goes your way, then yeah, B is fine. If it doesn't go your way, then yeah, that's I'd be leaning more C to D. So yeah, I'm not opposed to putting her in B.
Okay, fair enough. Both of you are okay with B. Let's put Kerrigan in B. Prestige-wise, anything except the first should be fine, right?
I think you want big immobilization wave for the clearing. Otherwise, clearing might be a little bit of a pain.
So no prestige?
Probably not P2.
Not P2.
Yeah,
So
you could go
first or
P0
third.
or P3 really, but
No prestige will allow her to leap into position to maximize immobilization wave. So maybe no prestige is best. All right.
I think so. Then you have Omega Worms for getting around to the suppression towers later on, so you'll have great mobility.
Yeah, that's true. You can also help your ally with that. So let's put Kerrigan in B tier. Let's move on. Nova, where do we have him?
I had Nova in A tier. She's got. I think you probably want to go P3 because shotgun Nova is not great against the evasive maneuvers. If you can get the big shotgun blast off, it'll do damage. But if they're units that are tanky enough to where they don't die in one shot, then now you can't hit all of them with the shotgun. You're going to hit like a quarter of the units. So
Very
shotgun
sad.
isn't terribly useful. So P3 will be very good for clearing ahead, though, the nuke being a very short cooldown. Will help you be able to nuke basically every objective. And Liberators, tanks with mines, and Ravens are relatively beefy and have healing from the Ravens. You might even want to get a little bit of passive healing on the Mastery. With P3, you can put a lot more points into that because Nova doesn't actually need much energy regen. So you could go half and half or whatever you want, really. So you have pretty good healing there and relatively tanky units. You probably just want to be a little more careful not to like super stack your Liberators so that storms aren't, storms and Seeker missiles aren't doing too much damage to your air units if they're all sieged up in one little spot. So spread them out a little bit and you'll be pretty good. So I had her in A tier.
Okay. What do you think, Eveling?
Yeah, I have all Nova A to B. P3 is going to be a good way to go. She's not immune to the spell effects, but because they can't really target her, then she will be incurring a lot less damage from them. One thing on top of just spacing out your army, you can use her Spec Ops Ghost, and then also Minx can use Shadows too in order to, because with power overwhelming, all units have energy bars, so you can actually deplete them and mitigate the amount of energy coming back to you. Exit shadows are kind of a little extra special where they can do damage and kind of might be able to kill things. But you can kind of do similar with Nova's Ghost, so that allows some damage mitigation. Plus, defensive drones are great. So yeah, she has a lot of good tools against this.
Okay. Both of you are A. Let's put Nova in A. Prestige-wise, third one, because you don't want Nova to get hit all the time. Only some at a time. Actually, none at a time if possible. So let's put Nova in A. Let's move on. Raynor, where do we have him?
Raynor is absolute suffering for this. If Han and Horner is bad, Raynor is extra bad. I have them from D to E.
D to E. What do you think, Edmund Home?
I think he's suffering on clearing, but once you get to the actual defense portion, you're not going to be suffering too bad because you have bunkers, you can prelay spider mines, and I think you'll be able to do your part pretty darn well there. But the clearing is going to be very rough. You're basically just Hyperion and Banshees, and that's mostly it. So yeah, I had him in C tier, but I'm not opposed to D tier.
So are we settling with C or D?
I'm okay with C. If I think it'll come down to what this ET Pono thinks. If he's hard set on C, I'm willing to go with that. But I think best to converge on D.
D? Okay. Let's put Raynor in D.
Yeah,
No
that's
prestige. No prestige recommendations for D. Stet Boy, where do we have him?
Stetmann I had in A tier. Stet zones are pretty good for sustain, healing, very nice. Gary himself, a lot of the time the units will take major damage before they blink out of the way of Egorbs. And sometimes they just blink back and are still in the Egorb, so he's pretty darn good. Zerglings, he has a refund on his units, so I think he'll do pretty well. He's got good clearing. He can do pretty well on defense, so I had him in A tier.
A tier. What do you think, Eveling?
Yeah, I agree with A tier. I have Stetmann from A to B. His reliance on hero early on puts him at a little awkward spot with power overwhelming, but once he gets past that and you're flood with lings and a bunch of other stuff, knowing that they're gonna get recycled eventually, I think you'll be in a okay place, and you can get to your mecha ultralists, and that's going to be nice because their siphon, especially if you're dealing against mech, is going to be nice with dealing with stuff that's ping ponging all over the place. So A to B.
Okay, both of you are okay with A. Let's put Set Boy in A. Prestige wise, second one. Let's move on. Stukov, where do we have him?
Stukov, P3 players rejoice. This is going to be a good one for this, where you don't care if things bounce around and you don't care if things get black holed and stormed. You just send more. So Stukov is going to be S to A.
S to A. What do you think, Anton?
Yeah, I had Stukov in S tier. Mass free units, a few Brood Queens are nice, but it's not really even required particularly unless you're up against a cloak comp, in which case just get a couple. You'll be fine. So yeah, S tier.
S tier. All right, Stukov S. Swann, where do we have him?
Swann is a little bit worse than Karax in my opinion because of the particular quirk where units will evasive maneuver from the laser drill before the laser drill even starts dealing damage. So the laser drill is really, really weak, and that hurts for the early game in particular, like trying to do your initial base clearing and everything like that. It's nice to have, usually helps speed things up, but you don't have that. and for the initial defense and everything. Top bars are still good, so he's not bad or anything. And turrets are very good once you do get things cleared, but clearing is going to be a little bit tougher because of the weaker laser drill. And so I had him in B tier.
B tier. What do you think, Eviling?
Yeah, I think Swann again is going to be appropriate for him. Laser drill definitely suffers from this. I think for this, your best bet is going to be P1 laser drill, with its faster target acquisition rate. Knowing that things are just going to keep on bouncing around, it's still not going to be ideal. But yeah, you could go with P2 and try to hunker down with turrets and having Wraiths go out and take down stuff is nice, but you have power overwhelming to do with, and if your Gaggle Wraiths get all caught, then that's a problem. So I know before last time this rolled around to advise splitting up your race into multiple sections, knowing that you probably will lose packs of them. Just trying to minimize that. And yeah, so one, B to C.
Okay, both of you agree with B. Let's put Swann in B. Prestige-wise, first one?
I would say second
would say
one.
that's the
personally.
Second one.
Once the laser drill hits, everything blinks apart, and then suddenly laser drill splash isn't very helpful.
That's true. So top bar.
bars are very nice.
Top bars are very
clearing.
nice, aren't they? Plus, you can also
But
can always yeah. Plus, you can always static defense. You can use put static defense on the towers and stuff, so you can have more defense and stuff, which don't really care if they blink around. All right, Swann and
Yeah.
B. Tychus, where do we have him?
Tychus, he's strong. He has sustain. If things get into his back line, doesn't really care too much about that. It's just more or less annoying to deal with evasive maneuvers and power overwhelming at the same time with Tychus. So just make sure you have your medevac platforms up early so that you can get him out of the sticky position if your outlaws are caught in black holes and other funky stuff. I have Tychus from A to B.
A to B. What do you think, Edmund Home?
That was not my experience with Tychus. Tychus was like top of S for me this week. And it was like I'd done 3 or 4 other commander solos, and it was like a struggle, and you barely make it through. And then Tychus, by the time Arana reached the second objective, I already had objective 3 mostly cleared. And I mean, just P2, you're split up in every direction. You're super, super heavy sustain. Most of the abilities that are used from power overwhelming are not great against single targets. I mean, maybe there's a world where you just get abducted over and over and over, but I never had that happen. And you can just have enough outlaws. You have Sam for the suppression towers, kills them very quickly. And then Tychus, his grenade, just wipes the entire wave before they can blink anywhere for most army comps. I guess maybe there's a couple where that wouldn't be the case later in the game, but by that point you have all your outlaws up. So I had Tychus in S tier. I mean, maybe I just got lucky, but it felt like it made me question putting anyone else in S, how easy it was with Tychus.
That's the funny thing about power overwhelming. You could either have the most miserable thing, or you could have either the most miserable experience ever with just getting with the ultimate worst spell possible every time. I just not feel it at all. Where you get stuff like irradiate on like mechanical units, where you don't actually even feel it, or you have like distraction webs they can just walk out of. So I guess it's variable in that way. What do you think, Eviling, about S tier?
Yeah, last time this rolled around, I did experience that longer range of experiences, whether it's like just roll over easy or it was kind of like a semi miserable experience. So yeah, with I'm not opposed to putting it into S if you get a good set. Like getting chain abducted. I don't think outlaws get abducted. I don't ever remember an outlaw getting abducted. I know I've had outlaws get black hole before. But,
Black hole is bad experience. Bad.
Yeah, and that's why I say you gotta have medevacs ready to evac them out if that's the case. But that's not too big of an issue for
Yeah.
Tychus, especially with P2. I mean, he can tank quite a bit. So if it's like one black hole, maybe you just weather through it, and if it's several black holes, then get him out maybe. I'm not opposed to putting him into S if you get if RNG's on your side. Otherwise, yeah, A is fine with me.
Is S fine with you?
S is fine for Tychus, in my opinion.
All right, let's put Tychus in S. Second prestige, right? Just more durable and stuff.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Vorazun, where do we have him?
Vorazun doesn't have great sustain. Her units are pretty squishy and don't like splash damage a whole lot typically.
They hate
so
radiate.
yeah, they hate irradiate so much, and so she's gonna have not the best time this week. But she does have good top bars still, as per always, basically. So I had her in C tier. She'll do, she'll pull her weight decently well, but she's not going to be a carrier.
Carrier has arrived.
Or anything, in my experience.
All right, what do you think, Eviling?
Yeah, Vorazun, she relies on her army quite a bit, and having them kind of create the semi-death ball, that's like prime targets for all the lovely spells and power overwhelming. And the other aspect is, even with time stop, she's still not immune to power overwhelming even during time stop. So yeah,
Yes.
it's gonna be suffering regardless. So C to D.
C to D. I guess both of you converge on C. That's where we'll put Vorazun. She has one prestige. Third one. Zagara. Where do we have him?
Zagara, so said banelings with guns are good. Banelings themselves are also good. Send them on a one-way trip. Just don't clump them up too closely together, because if a pack of banelings get caught by black hole, by Psystorm, stuff like that, then or the worst fungal. Then
Seeker
it's
missile.
gonna severely hamper. It's gonna severely hamper your damage output. I would be more inclined. I remember last time this road, I went with P2. That provided a little more smoother experience. Since you can get your aberrations in, they can take a few spells, and then if they want to get into the face of things and they die there, then out comes two banelings. So Zagara, I think for me, since I said Bane's guns are pretty good and she's kind of in the same spot, I'd say A to B.
A to B. What do you think, Edmund?
I had her in B because she has the banelings to match the banelings with guns, but her Earth Splitters are much shorter range than Mink's Earth Splitters, so it's and they can't be salvaged for full cost and moved so they can reach the next spot. So I had her in B tier. You can send in little packs of units, but then there's the balancing game of sending enough units to where they're not just going to get killed by the regular enemy attacks, but not too many to where they're going to get splashed and waste themselves. So I had her in B tier.
All right. There's also the Zagara experience on Malwarfare, where you have something like a 50 second rally from the main base. You might want to remake your bailing nest at the fourth set once it gets to the later stages, just so you don't have such a long rally for everything. You definitely want extra hatcheries at the fourth set of shards or a fourth set of towers, so that you have a shorter rally of your guys when you have to remake stuff, when you have to remake stuff. So let's put Zagara in B tier. Prestige wise, did you say second one? Are we going with that?
I think you could do P1, P2, or P3, really. Probably P3 would be the worst of the bunch, but it's still doable.
If you're going first prestige, you definitely want to remake your bailing nest and scourge nest to closer location to the
100%.
fight. You definitely need to do that. All right, B tier it is. Zeratul, where do we have him?
Zeratul has cannons. Kind of end of story. Pretty darn good. You just go Knowledge Seeker, get lots of upgrades. Zeratul himself, pretty good against attack waves and being more mobile, getting you vision for those cannons to get planted down. You have your Avatar of Essence to demote waves, and then the SCVs will still storm you, but at least they're only using abilities on you. So I had him in S tier. Pretty darn good.
What do you think, Eviling?
Yeah, cannon's good. Cannon's immune from power overwhelming, and if things bounce around, your cannons, as you get more artifacts, get more powerful, and eventually it just doesn't really matter anymore. So yeah, just cannon up, get your artifacts, and call it a good day. Yeah, Esther.
Okay, let's put Zeratul in S tier. Prestige wise, second one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Long map.
Do we have a double S?
No.
Who's top of S? You go with Tychus?
Probably Zeratul.
Zeratul? Okay.
I mean, I'm buying into this concept you guys are selling me that Tychus isn't as good as I thought he was.
I'm not
so-
selling anything. I'm not selling anything. I'm just saying that the experience with power overwhelming is so varied that your experience will not be the same as someone else's experience. I'm not saying that makes Tychus good or bad. I'm like, for example, Zeratul, you have cannons, yes, but what do you do when they start distraction webbing your cannons, right? So
You just spread them out.
yes, but you need vision anyway. Doesn't matter. So who's second in S?
Probably Dehaka.
Dehaka. Third.
Stukov can have a little bit of a startup problem compared to those two, but I'd say he's probably third. Once you get going, you know, infinite free units.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Personally, I would have Tychus at least above Stukov, but not my opinion. Who's top of A?
I would be inclined to say Dehaka.
Dehaka is S tier, not A tier.
No, sorry, not Dehaka. Abathur.
Abathur. Of course, if Dehaka would be,
Abathur's fine.
yeah, Abathur is fine. If Dehaka is A tier, he would definitely be top of A because he's actually S tier. Then Stetboy. You still have Infestor, so that'll still work. Match energy with energy,
Yeah, I think
right?
Stepboy, then Minsk,
Mhm.
then Karax, then Nova.
This?
That sounds good.
All
Yep.
right. Who's top of B? Zagara's bottom of B, right? She has to be.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Just
I
because of the
think-
rally. I just hate Zagara's rally on this map. Speaking of rally, how about
Yeah.
Kerrigan's rally? Non-existent.
Yeah, I was thinking Kerrigan for top of B, and then Swann.
Then
And yeah, I think that's probably. I think
That-
Phoenix might be above Artanis.
I'm a bit worried about Phoenix's shell farm because of evasive maneuvers. They can just blink to the farm, but other than that, I guess this is fine. Who's top of C? Alarak,
Yep, Alarak.
and then
Yeah, and then Han and Horner.
On an order at salvage, which
And
is
then-
kind of a crappy way to
And
say
bomber
that they're
platform.
better.
The ring.
yeah,
Yep.
and then Vorazun.
Yep.
Yep,
All right.
last.
So Raynor, poor Raynor. Raynor needs a buff. Ooh, how would you buff Raynor so that he's no longer D tier?
Double mules.
Double mules. Command centers
Or his
can
orbital
store.
command starts as
Yeah. Orbital commands can
Multi-
store marines and can still lift off. And the marines
Oh,
can
yeah,
shoot from
yeah.
inside. There we go. Make orbital commands flying bunkers. Maybe you can have an upgrade on the fusion core that lets his command centers just carry marines inside. Of course, they probably lose the mule ability once they're lifted, but just having bunkers that fly
For
that cannot be
this-
abducted.
This
Yeah?
For this mutation, drop pod bunkers would be great.
Drop
just give
pod
him
bunkers
Minx.
would be great. Yeah. That would make him really good. That's a good evoling. Alright. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. If you have an idea for what else you can do, please leave that in a comment. I will see you guys next time.